Got my stupid hat. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna do a real quick tutorial on how I mix. So my previous tutorial was on phrase matching, and this one is going to be on how I mix. I had some people ask me, and you know, they requested a video, so here we go. Let's get right to it. So if you're still new at DJing, you're not very familiar with what these are, what they do, or how they function, I'm gonna break it down to you guys in a very easy, digestible way. These are referred to as bands. Here's your high band, mid band, low band, your filter. We'll get into the filters some other time. Let's just stick to these for now. So you can think of these as volumes. So you got your volume for your highs, your volume for your mids, and your volume for your lows. The track that is dominant is going to be the track that has the bass up. You will never want to have two tracks with the bass, both of them up. You're gonna redline, you're gonna blow some speakers up. So the track that is dominant is the one with the bass up. Sometimes you can have your two tracks playing and your volumes can be sort of like at 50%, like that. I've seen that before. You can mess around with them. But for the most part, if you're playing like hard techno, dark techno, peak time techno, shit like that, your EQs, your bands need to be like this. Sometimes you can get away with like maybe 10, 15% or whatever. But for the most part, you're gonna want them like this. The mids and the highs, sometimes you can get away with them, but not all the time. You gotta pay close attention to see the frequencies are clashing. Sometimes you have two tracks, and like the mids will, in the frequency spectrum, they'll sit like right next to each other, but not directly on top. When frequencies sit directly on top of each other, that's when you notice clashing. You'll notice like some sort of like whistle or resonance. If you don't hear that, there's no need for them to be attenuated unless you want them to, you know, from like an artistic standpoint. The highs, if you have sizzling hi-hats on both tracks, then of course you need to attenuate one. You need to choose whichever one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be your leading track. It could be the track that's coming in, right? So these bands are sort of, you know, just up to you for your artistic kind of output and creativity. But these, you can't have both of them like this. That's a big no-no. Also, when you are mixing, your mixing needs to follow your phrase matching, okay? If you haven't watched the video on phrase matching, I'll leave a card so you can go ahead and watch it, but phrase matching is important and your mixing is going to follow that. So like, let's say I have this track is playing. When I cue this track, this phrase is going to end and a new one's gonna start. I'm gonna hit play on this one when that one starts so that they're running parallel at the same time, okay? When I'm about to cue this track, so this one is the one that I'm gonna bring in. The cue needs to be turned on, obviously, so you can hear it. The track that has the volume all the way up should never have the cue on, okay? So the best way to cue your tracks is if the volume is up, that needs to be turned off. If the volume is down, it needs to be turned on, and your master should be turned on at all times. Once they're ready to go, what I like to do is turn this off so that I'm paying attention to the master, okay? Now I know what this track sounds like, so when I bring this in, these are all the way down. My EQs are all the way down. At this point, I already know what the track sounds like, and I'm going to turn this thing off, the cue, and I'm going to pay attention to what it sounds like on the master. When I bring in the EQs, I typically will start with the mid or the high, and I will bring them in on counts of 1. So I'm gonna be following the phrase. So the track is playing and I'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, very subtly, right? And so if you're not sure what you're listening to when you're bringing this in, you turn this one back on just so you can hear it a little bit more clear, so that you can identify the frequencies that you need to. Once you know what you're looking for, turn this back off and then bring this in. If you think that your tracks are not aligned for some reason, they're kind of like not perfectly aligned, turn it on, make sure you align it as needed, but then turn this back off. You just want to make sure that you pay attention to the master only through here, because like this, you'll be able to hear the frequencies a lot more subtly, and you know exactly what the crowd is hearing, okay? So again, you're going 1, I'll bring this in a little bit, or maybe this one, you know, it depends, right? You have to like pay attention to which bands need to be applied. So for example, if like this track starts with hats, you don't need to be doing anything with the fucking mid, because well, the hats sit on the fucking highs, right? So obviously you got to pay attention to that, but you have to be mixing in on your counts on 1. So these tracks are playing. 1, 1, 1, and then you're gonna wait for the phrase to end and a new one is about to start. Then you can go ahead and make sure that you can go ahead and bring these all the way up, because at this point in the transition, when the new phrase starts, you're gonna hear effects applied like sweeps, swells. There'll be a crash or elements introduced or taken away, and that's the perfect time for you to bring these all the way in. And also you can do several things. You can either swap bass lines now during this phrase, or you can wait for the following phrase. So you'll still be having these two tracks in a groove playing together, and you'll kind of just mess around with the EQs. You can start maybe taking this one down. What I personally do is I don't like to swap tracks immediately on that initial phrase and then take this one out immediately, because like for me that kind of ruins the vibe. I like to have long transitions so that the two tracks are sort of playing together. I don't like to just bring one in and take the other one out. That's me. You do whatever you like, but that's just how I personally mix. So yeah, again, you can either wait for the following phrase, so you can swap bass lines, or you can even wait for the phrase after that. But at some point, you're going to have to swap bass lines. And again, the track that has the bass line all the way turned up, that is a track that is leading. Okay, so enough chatting. Let's go ahead and mix real quick. Okay, so for this demonstration, I will be using this track as the name is called Fear by Amstra, and then we have a Nocturna Tempora by WNDRLST. All right, so I'm going to jump. I'm not going to play this track from the beginning because let's just cut to the chase. So I will be playing this track from when I am going to play the second track, when I'm going to cue that. So this track, there's a second breakdown. As soon as it drops, I'm going to hit play on this one so that they both run parallel and the phrases match. Okay, all right, so let's get to it, baby. So okay, so we're gonna let this play right now. Once it drops, I'm gonna push play on this one, okay, at the same time. And like I said, so I'm gonna cue it all by ear with the cue on this one. Once the tracks are aligned and they're ready to go, I'm gonna bring down all the EQs down. I will bring this in, and I will slowly begin to bring in these, the mid and the top EQ slowly. When it hits the phrase, this should be all the way up, and then I will decide if I want to swap bass lines on the following phrase or the phrase after that. So okay, so pay attention to that. Okay, so bring this down, this thing go all the way up. Okay, ready? So it's something like that, more or less. So I hope you guys got the point. Again, things can vary, but you do need to follow certain guidelines and understand that, well, phrase matching is important because, again, we have this ability to keep up with time. Something with timing that is already embedded in our DNA. We're able to pick up on timing. When you look at people dancing, and you know, they do counts, right? Like the instructors say 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, or they count to 8, 8. You know, during those points, like on the counts of 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, all that, it's just something that is natural to us. So if music is produced to follow the structure of counts, your mixing should also follow the structure of counts to keep up with the structure of music, right? So there's different ways of mixing, there's different styles, but this is one that, like, if you want to have long, smooth transitions that seem seamless, and then, you know, people are like, oh shit, when did the track end and this one start, right? You gotta follow your ones. All right, so that basically wraps it up. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this type of material, again, leave a comment. If you like this bullshit, comment, subscribe, send it to your friends, to your mom, to your dogs, to your cats. One more thing, yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything you want me to cover, let me know. Share in the comments, and I'll see you guys. Thank you very much. Bye.